Get wrecked, noobs.
Uh-oh.
Good luck.
I always forget to fix the timer. There we go. With that, we have a timer, and a bingo card, and a race. Uh, so what's up with the card today? Um, where to begin with this? So, we'll start with what the first goal is going to be, I suppose. Yeah, that's probably about it. Very likely, I think that we'll see Monarch Wings get marked if it's early, though. Row 5, not exactly ideal. Row 4 in particular is a little daunting too. But potentially a very early first goal on that side of the board. Then the columns actually both look kind of bad. I really don't see anyone wanting to start with those. But I think that if you found an early Dream Nail, for example, that would be a good first choice as well. I don't know. I'm rusty. What I can say for sure is that our racers aren't going to be struggling for Geo. Um, Starting out with the Mantis Lord's pickup makes everything much easier early on. There definitely are quite a few longer goals, and there isn't a lot of cross-goal synergy. Like, you might see a couple things like Crystal Heart being right next to the Fog Canyon Grub. This is a really nice combo if you happen to find it. I think it's too early to say for sure whether this will be a long seed though. If we split up into rows, which is what I'm expecting to see right now, then I think this could end very quickly because the static goals appear to me to be much easier to access via row progression. Alright, the first corner for location for both racers. Pretty much just standard making their way towards False Night. Very little reason to spend time geo-farming with over 600. Can already afford any shop item at any price. Any more geo right now would be quite slow compared to what they'll have access to later on. But you never know. We could see one of those situations where, oh, I don't know. Maybe Longdale Mark of Pride are in the shops and someone really wants column 1. I'm just saying it's possible. I wouldn't go for it, but I also wouldn't do a lot of things that I have in fact done and regretted. Interesting to see both racers grabbing this extra grub outside the hallway to False Night. Not slow, per se, and probably not the worst thing to get considering that Crossroads Grubs are on the card, but it's not fast either. Veloxitea stopping to heal on this Husk guard. We have seen Veloxitea die to this before in the tournament and respawn all the way back in Dirtlands. A very painful spot to die in. So taking a moment to heal, be extra safe towards the end of that fight, normally a pretty good idea. And the first item is going to be Cyclone Slash. Ah, interesting. Putting that in reserve for Mick and soon to be Veloxitea. That definitely strengthens the row 1 play quite a bit, because now we'll see 3 guaranteed goals in row 2, which actually go really well with Cornifer, Deep Nest, and Hornet 2 even. Oh, and a Vanilla VS. Vengeful Spirit definitely a very nice starting item, though it can be a little difficult to use at maximum effectiveness. We'll see if Mick is able to do the Fireball Skip with Libra, for example. That one can be really tricky. Or am I mistaken, and was that not VS? And is Mick just confusing me with his tracker? That could be it. Oh no, it was. Mick was just going for Cyclone Slash for fun. I mean, that's fair enough. Cyclone Slash is a really cool looking Balder kill, but it's very inconsistent. Getting the Balder to actually cooperate, I don't know if I've seen anyone actually come up with a reliable strat for that. Mick does find Monarch Wings though at Soulcatcher. This is a Wing Seed. No more Fireball Skips for us for quite a while though, so that's sad. We also do see Mick committing to row 5. I'm not sure about this. Obviously it's hard to really lock in row 1 at this point. Your fastest goal is still almost guaranteed to be 5 corner for locations, but like all 5 of these goals are very easy to get. Only real sticking point is finding Dive and Dream Nail. Then row 2 is really pretty good too. A lot of good synergies here. Mick is gonna be struggling with row 4. I don't think it'll be too much for him to handle, but he's going to have to find a lot of items, most notably Claw, Crystal Heart, Dream Nail, and Dive, as well as 2 charms. Or, hold on, I mix all that up. Crystal Heart, also Crystal Heart, basically, or Isma. Claw and Dream Nail, Dive, 2 randomized charms. In other words, Mick gets the first goal on the board, but now it'll take him a very long time to get through row 4 without a lot of luck on his side. Veloxitea, as soon as he finds Dream Nail or collects Cornifer locations, Cyclone Slash is available. A lot of other row 2 goals on his side. And, yeah, the option of moving into row 3. Row 3, not great. No accessible goals at the moment. But, yeah, who knows where Quick Flash is. That could change at any point in time. Okay, interesting to see Mick and Veloxitea already going for Crossroads Grubs, even though neither of them have Crystal Hearts, so this is kind of a waste of time. You know, committing to a goal which you can't finish yet, but it's good to go ahead and do it early, I suppose. That way you don't end up having to backtrack for it. Mick, meanwhile, giving us a little bit of a heart attack there. Almost dying to Crow's mother. That's not something you're supposed to do. Veloxitea also almost dying to Crow's mother. I'll admit, it's a hard fight. I struggle with it too, but if you're going in there with Vengeful Spirit, normally I have to hold them to a higher standard. Like, seriously. Every category that kills Crow's mother has Vengeful Spirit. Alright, Strength, Heart, and Sharp Shadow. I would buy that Fragile Heart, but, and Mick will buy that Fragile Strength. All in all, not a really good Salubra. Well, actually a lot of utility there. Useless for the card, though. But alright, so I believe both racers will be doing their Shade Skip here. Will be worth noting, Mick is going to have a pretty nice damage advantage over Veloxitea now, with Fragile Strength in hand. Not quite as big a deal with VS as it would be otherwise, but still worth noting. Of course, one of the downsides of a wing start is have this very long progression across Blue Lake without Dash or Crystal Heart. A lot of jumping. Fortunately, it doesn't last forever, they get through. We have 4 items on the other side of this dream sequence. And we have a vanilla dream now. I'll be honest, I was guessing that, but I didn't want to say it for fear of being proven wrong on stream. Longnail is an Essence Skull, so a lot of interesting finds up here. Veloxitea being so kind as to free Mick from his reserve burden. You gotta figure this is uncomfortable for Mick though. Oh yeah, Mick loves doing this Whispering Root strat. I guess it's fair enough. But yeah, Veloxitea already in a better board position than Mick is. Of course, Mick could get bailed out by... I don't even know what he'd want to find right now. Like, he's two items away from being able to get to the Fog Canyon Grub, and every other goal in Row 4 is really slow, even with the right items. Alright, Mick grabbing his second corner for a location. Veloxitea skipping. Or will he remember? He does. Yeah, so this has been a very vanilla seed so far, with Cyclone Slash at False Knight and Monarch Wings at Soul Catcher. We'll see what we get next. Maybe a Crystal Heart at Sly. Well, Soul Catcher didn't end up too far away from where it's supposed to be. Very rare to see anyone actually buy Soul Catcher out of a shop, though. Wow, all 3 Fragile Charms have been found. Mick is going to waste money on this Fragile Greed. I can feel it. I can feel it. But the 100 Geo Shaman Stone, definitely a solid investment, especially after already finding a spell. And that will be Mick's charm of choice here. I mean, think about it. In order to, for Mick to profit off of buying Fragile Greed, assuming about an average of an extra 20% Geo from Fragile Greed, he'd have to kill enemies worth 800 Geo, while having that equipped, which means losing time to not having Shaman Stone equipped. So, like, that's not great normally. Meanwhile, Veloxitea may be taking a moment to think about his options. Could see a bit of divergence here. Veloxitea seeming to head over left side, maybe Green Path or Fungal, while Mick presumably gonna dive Crystal Peak for us. A little tough with his current outfit. He can get to Shopkeeper's Key and Crystal Heart. I really would not see any reason to go for Crystal Heart, and Shopkeeper's Key on its own is kind of low value, but we'll see how the play pays out for him. Veloxitea, meanwhile, decides he is going to head down. So what's next? Looks like Fungal. Okay. Oh, Mick's screwing up the Fireball skip here. This is one of the rougher item sets for getting through the Spike Tunnel, because you do only have a limited number of tries based off of your soul meter. Not to mention it's quite slow. Is Mick going to commit? It sure does look like it. Meanwhile, Veloxitea about to show us what's at Leg Gator, I think, if he doesn't keep on pausing. Yeah, I don't think this is a good play for Mick, personally. And I think that this is a situation where you should be looking for Dash and Fungal or Green Path, or rushing a goal in City of Tears. Crystal Peak is really slow with this item set. The worst part is, if he has to come back here without Claw, it'll be through the spike tunnel again. But Veloxitea finds Quick Slash and Quick Focus at Leg Eater. So Leg Eater really quite loaded in terms of bingo charms. And we're already at a point where Veloxitea and Mick are competing for the same row. If Veloxitea finds something in Fungal which leads to row 4, that will be really, really brutal for Mick. Mick's already in a bad position once he gets to row 3 for having given up that Quick Slash, so... Well, we'll see. Shopkeeper's Key could definitely put Mick back on track. I believe Mick is committing to Crystal Peak, though. Unless he's just killing Crystal Guardian 1 for Geo. I would not be surprised to see this lead into a Crystal Heart Shadeskip. It looks like Mick just wanted the Geo, though. He is going to quit out of Crystal Peak. I don't like that play just for the key. It's such a slow trip up there. Of course, I also don't like doing the Shadeskip to Crystal Heart, because that's even slower, but... I mean, you have to find some way to extract value from the trip. This is strange from Veloxitea. This is very strange. Yes, 500 Essence is something which he might want eventually to get Long Nail. He certainly doesn't need any more because Glowing Whip's out on the card. But I don't see why you would fight Elderhu now. This fight is a little risky if you're not practiced in doing it dashless. The RNG could be quite brutal. And it's really slow with just base VS. Like, you're just losing time here. That's how I see it. Not to mention, like, depending on what other stuff you end up doing, like, you might not even need the essence from Elderhu, but it's here, it's convenient, so might as well go for it. Meanwhile, I did not pay any attention to Mick, but can only assume that he either didn't check Shopkeeper's Key, or it was bad. Alright, but Mick is going to head into city for us. What do you do here if you're Mick? Like, obviously, if he wanted to, he could get both Bardoon and 5,000 Geo. Neither of those are really ideal goals at the moment, but because they're not building towards anything, but you might want to secure those just to prevent Veloxitea from sniping him down the road. Or we might be about to see Soul Sanctum play. Especially if Vic gets the Geo to buy Elegant Key. Soul Sanctum could make quite a bit of sense as Veloxitea, no. How do you die there? Well, the answer really is taking a lot of damage to Elderhu beforehand and not healing back up, but Still, I feel really bad. That's a painful death to walk all the way back from Lake Eater for. Fortunately, Veloxitea did have the bench of fungal wastes. It'd be much worse if he respawned at Dirtmouth. Nick really hasn't gotten that much geo at this point, I would say, but he probably does have as high as some 5,000 geo down the road. A very fast and easy goal in his row, which has a lot of positive side effects. Probably wants to buy Elegant Key and Lantern pretty quickly as part of achieving that goal. And then, well, there's a lot of ways to spend geo. Normally, you're not really too concerned with that part. It's not out of the question that we might see Mick get an nail upgrade or something, though. Veloxitea pausing. This is interesting. Mick accusing Veloxitea of using the mod log in Pinko chat after Veloxitea marks Stream Nail Cyclone Slash and Quick Slash all in a row. Of course, little does Mick know, but Quick Slash was in a very obvious location, Leg Eater normally being one of the first checks you would make in a wing seed, if, you know, you weren't going to go and do a dashless wings entry into Crystal Peak just to get Shopkeeper's Key. To each their own, right? Yeah, Mick not getting much out of that Fragile Greed investment, huh? Well, I did say before, it was a purchase which had Mick's name all over it despite being absolutely awful. Veloxitea? Okay. Alright, I think that these pauses are the racers communicating with the bingo chat. I'm not going to dump all the gossip in the commentary, but there is definitely a lot of spice in there. Alright, let's hit Dashmaster. This is the last chance for the fungal play to really pay out. And it's Wraiths, interestingly enough. It's a useful spell. It's on row 3 too, once they find the other copy. Okay, this is Mick's 4th corner for location. So yeah, Wraiths, nice, especially if Veloxitea ends up going into Abyss after Hornet 2. Definitely a good find, though not the, probably not the item he would have been hoping to find, given how long the fungal trip normally takes. Alright, Veloxety looks to be heading to Queen Station, maybe into Green Path afterwards. Alright, Chad is asking about it. The Deep Nest play really good for Veloxety right now. Be a really solid way to, handle these 4 squares right here all at once. Not good for Mick. Mick has no reason to go to Deep Nest at all. Even for Veloxety though, I'm not sure. It's always hard to justify doing Deep Nest before you have Dash. It's a really slow check, but definitely one that's available. Mick did not talk to Bardoon. Bardoon is a little bit out of the way in Kingdom's Edge, so not exactly sure what Mick is putting it off for, but he is putting it off. It could be a while before he gets back there, though, since Hornet 2 is on the other side of the board from him. Okay, so Mick about 2/3 of the way into his Geo goal now. Looks like he's headed into Fungal right after Veloxety. I'm not sure about this. If you're gonna go all the way into City of Tears like that, then I feel like you have to capitalize with some item checks, other than just Dash Slash. Especially after buying the Elegant Key, but I don't know. Veloxety, meanwhile, headed towards Spore Shroom. Spore Shroom's gonna be really hard to check, though, without, Alright, this is Veloxity's 3rd quarter location. And he does buy the map. Anyways, what I was gonna say is, Spore Shroom, a really hard check for Veloxety right now, I think. We'll see how good his Fireball skips are. Failed Champion is not accessible for either player right now. It does require either Claw or the Infection of Crossroads. And the Infection of Crossroads, not possible in Randomizer without Mantis Claw. So that is a strictly Claw blocked goal. Mick cannot currently get any goals in row 4 with the knowledge we have. We'll see if finding Quick Slash there turns him off of the Fungal play, knowing that Veloxety has already cleared out the area. It's one of those metagaming things you can keep in mind in this sort of scenario. I definitely think that, given what we know, watching the race, Green Path looks to be a very lucrative area. So does Soul Sanctum, for that matter. One of those two probably has Dash or Crystal. I mean, that's not a very strong strong prediction for me, but it is true. Veloxety had a rough time with the Shade Skip, but does eventually get it. Unfortunately, the only item in Deep Nest that Veloxitea can get right now is Weaver Song, and he doesn't even have Lantern, so I'm not sure he knows the route to get there. Oh, and he hasn't rescued Zote yet either. So this is just a bad play all around, I think. Yeah, clearly doesn't know the setup. Even stops to heal. Veloxitea will not be getting Spore Shroom this way. And he quits out. Not going to go into Deep Nest. Not going to get Spore Shroom. That's a couple minutes wasted for Veloxitea. Really unfortunate to see. But yeah, Veloxitea in particular has a lot of reason to be rushing Green Path right now. He really doesn't want to let Zote die and get locked out of that row 1 gold. That would be really bad for him, so... well, we'll see what he does next. Veloxitea skipping Wraiths. Interesting. I kinda like it. In this scenario, Veloxitea doesn't have too many randomized goals. And too many checks right now runs the risk of finding Mantis Claw, which would actually be kind of bad right now if that were to trigger Zote's death by accident. So, really rushing towards upper green path, a good play here. Mick, meanwhile, seems to be going for Mantis Lords. I'm not sure about this. Mantis Lords is really slow without Claw. Not a check I like to make. Of course, I got burned on it in my last race too, so that colors your outlook on things. Yeah, if Mick finds Crystal Heart down here, for example, that would be enormous for his race. We'll see if that just killed Zote. No one knows exactly what the trigger is, but the most common conjecture is that Zote dies when Mantis Claw is acquired and Hornet 1 is defeated. Though there are witness testimony contradicting that. Mick making really quick work of this boss fight with the Shaman boosted Wraiths. A really powerful spell in current patch, especially if you can get the Mantis Lords to cooperate with their positions. Alright, Mick is done. Gonna do a safe quit, and we'll see what the items are. Meanwhile, Veloxitea taking this kind of odd route through Green Path. You'll see some runners do. This does get you grubs. This is odd because there are no Hunter's Journal goals. Hunter's Journal not randomized. Fascinating. Unless I'm blind, I mean, pretty sure there are... Oh, for counting devoutes? I guess you could do that. That still could... And that doesn't solve the issue of if there are duplicates. But maybe. Still, that getting Hunter's Journal is so slow. That, like, even if you were confused about which devoutes you had or hadn't killed, I feel like it would be just as fast to go kill more. Alright, Mick. Watcher Knight's Geochest. Really nice find. Only 35 more than the vanilla contents of that chest. And Fury. It's a bust. Mick wasted a lot of time on that check. Luckily for him, Veloxitea still in a rut of his own, but yeah, this is a very slow start so far thanks to the choices our runners have been making. We'll have to see if Mick checks Green Path. Finding Mantis Claw would be really big for him. Though I very strongly doubt we would see him go for the dashless field champion in this case. Did Veloxitea check the corner for location in Green Path? I missed it. I assume that he would have, but you never know. Actually, did he check the one in Fungal? Yeah, I wrote that. I wrote that one down, actually. Okay. So both of our racers have 4 corner farm locations at this point. Uh-oh. Veloxitea really not prioritizing. Alright, that's Mick's 5th. Into the reserve bucket it goes. I'm not sure why you would willingly do that to yourself, but whatever. Hive Blood. Not a bad charm, per se, but... Oh, and Veloxitea is leaving? I don't know about that play. Looks like he's just getting the grubs. Yeah. You don't leave Green Path in this situation. Not when you're right next to the Green Path stag. Okay though, this is the moment of truth to see if Zod is still alive. For Veloxitea. That is one quiet Zote. No, he's there. All's well that ends well. Hornet was not killed, so presumably that is why Zote was still alive. No one knows for sure. We'll have to see if Mick checks what's at Wraiths, since Veloxitea didn't show us that. Could be really big. Green Path Stag. Always one you want to grab when you're in the area. The 2 checks, Shape of Thought and Great Slash, almost impossible, normally, to make on your first visit because of their high item requirements. So, this way, those won't be orphaned for Veloxitea in the future. Very fast Hornet 1 fight, thanks to Shaman Stone, of course. And Hornet with her vanilla item. A fantastic find. Mothwing Cloak saves time. No matter when and where you find it, really. It's incredible. Hopefully Mick will follow Veloxitea's footsteps and completely clear out Green Path because, well, it will really swing this race if they don't both get Mothwing Cloak. Meanwhile, Mothwing Cloak also now makes a Deep Nest play really, really good because Veloxitea can check Spore Shroom and both items of Weaver's Stun, assuming he gets Lantern or Dose of Dark Rooms. And it does look like he's going to go into City of Tears now. It'd be really nice to see him get that, get the Geo he needs and make some plays for bingo goals. Veloxitea thinking. Not headed to City of Tears. Are we going to see Thorns? It looks like we're going to see Thorns. Actually, Veloxitea can also check Great Slash. So, checking a bit more Green Path, not a bad idea. Veloxitea could also get a lot out of Crystal Peak right now. Thanks to Dash, Claw, and Wings, a lot of lucrative item checks are available to him. Mick farms Massive Moss Charger for a little bit of Geo, and now he's only a few seconds away from his Mantis Claw. This will be really nice, but hopefully he won't feel like this is all he needed to find in Green Path and fail afterwards. Mothwing Cloak won't get Mick any goals, but it's really important for being able to finish this seed in a timely manner. Meanwhile, Veloxitea not moving. Weird. Maybe he was trying to figure out if he could get to Great Slash. He certainly could have with that item equipped. But, oh well. Looks like Mick is also going to come up this way and farm the Green Path grubs. Not the worst idea. And does Veloxitea headed to Deep Nest? This is interesting. I really don't like heading into Deep Nest without Lantern if you're not willing to do... No, excuse me. Not willing to do the Dark Rune. I mean, that's two really fast items there that he would be passing up on. But I do like this play in the sense that we're finally going to see one of our players take some initiative on this card. This has been a really slow night from the two of them. We're nearing an hour into the seed. Neither of them have marked a single goal, which was not dropped into their plate by the randomizer. So to answer the question in chat about the tournament format, the group stage is only for seeding purposes for the bracket, so everyone will advance, and then the bracket stage will be double elimination for the 13 remaining racers. Oh, Veloxitea only wanted Force Room? Interesting. I mean, Shade Soul is nice, but I don't get it. All right, Mick, please don't skip Hornet. Alright, Mick headed that way. Meanwhile, Veloxitea going to Crossroads, possibly going to show us what's at Crystal Peak. No. Where is he going? Is he... I don't know. I don't know why you would go this way. Sorry, that was confusing to me. Meanwhile, Mick is going to discover just how vanilla this seed really is. I'm sure he's very happy to have finally found that. That does mean that Veloxitea's biggest lead in this race has been squandered. At this point, Mick is right about on par with Veloxitea item-wise. Only real major difference is that Shade Soul. But this isn't a boss-heavy card at the moment, so I don't think that'll be too important. Where is Veloxitea going? Are we seeing a Mantis Lord's check? This would be so slow though. And there's so much other stuff he could be doing. If we see City Crest entry into City of Tears, I would be unhappy. Yes, watching Cloth die requires that you talk to Cloth in Ancient Basin, and then afterwards defeat Trader Lord. Alright, we're seeing Mantis Lords out of Veloxitea. This is really interesting. We're also seeing Mick struggle a lot with the Balders. Very interesting decision to use Fragile Strength and not Shaman Stone against them. That is in fact a bad charm combo for Balders, making it harder to farm soul on them and making your spells do less damage. So, this is going to be unfortunate for Veloxitea. We already know that the Mantis Lord's play is a bust. Now, unfortunately, at this stage, Mantis Lords, because Veloxitea didn't open the shortcut to get back here, this was one of the slowest possible checks he could have made with the fewest number of items. Crystal Peak would have, I think, 5 with his current item load. Soul Sanctum would have 3 to 4. Even Kingdom's Edge, you know. Check Dash Slash into Abyss, that's 3 items. But there is definitely room to argue for this play, especially after finding Mantis Buff, so I won't criticize it too much. Oh, not to mention, Shade Soul is going to make this really fast. I didn't even think about that. Of course, the real slowness is just getting here, but... Alright, Mick, don't die on the way out of Joni's Blessing. Okay. Mick stressing all of us out with the unnecessary 1 HP shenanigans, but he does survive. Release was a bust, but a Cyclone Slash is something. That could help Mick a lot. He has to find one of these progression items, and soon, because if Veloxitea actually gets on a roll with his static goals, he can really make Mick seed hard. Oh, and Mick finds Mark of Pride. That opens up the goal in row 3. We have already found Longnail, of course, at the 500 Essence location. Vanilla Dream Wielder, that is, so... But Mick has no way of getting to that goal yet, because he still can't get through row 4. Okay, Mick is going for Great Slash. I wonder if he's going to backtrack out for Thorns. Since this play is really quite hard to get out of Great Slash. Or really slow, rather. Not hard. And this is interesting from Veloxitea. Definitely one of the slower entrances to Deep Nest. But a lot of runners who don't speedrun the game like this one. It's one people often will discover in their casual playthrough because it is very well signaled. And Abyss Shriek over at Abyss Shriek at Great Slash. Very interesting. Anyways, not to say that this Deep Nest entrance is always bad, but it's usually bad. Just to cut things short. It does have a Alidus seal in here, but it's a little daunting to get to. The enemies around it are really good at sniping you. Yes, Mick could very easily get Field Champ right now with Abyss Shriek in hand and dash. I think he should be able to do that. And I believe that Shade Soul was a sports room. This was probably Lifeblood Heart. Yeah. Okay, I think we're about to see Mick make progress on the board with those finds. Yeah, going for the max DPS build, taking the stag to Crossroads. We're gonna get to see Abyss Shriek Field Champ fight. A little better equipped than the Shriek True End route. Well, actually, now that I say that, I'm not quite sure you can fairly make the comparison, since we're trading out Dream Wielder for Fragile Strength. And Dream Wielder is actually probably a lot better for this fight. Mick is going to check Glowing Womb first. There's a couple of things he could find here which would help. Most notably Shade Soul, but we know it isn't here. Dive or Crystal Heart would still be nice too. And this is interesting. Veloxitea going right for Nosk. Not the play I would have expected out of Deep Nest, but definitely one that's available. Not exactly familiar with the route to get to Nosk, but process of elimination is going to get us there. Wow, Mick going all in, killing the maggot. As Veloxitea gets started on his boss fight. I'm not very good at the Nosk fight myself, so I don't know if I can really commentate it. Usually what you'll see is the runner's going to try and hide in a corner, dodge Nosk when he comes through like this, and when he jumps into the ceiling, you can use Wraiths to damage him a bit during that. I would really like to see Veloxitea heal on this fight. I mean, seriously. This is... and there's the death. Meanwhile, Mick's fight seems to be going decently. He took damage on it, but he got through the first round. He's farming up for the second now. I don't know why Mick thought that that was a good idea, but he did just try and beat Failed Champ by standing in his hitbox, which is not a viable strategy. I should say. Veloxitea, meanwhile, making his way back to Nosk, doubling down on this play. I would really like to see a safer second try. Trying to stay near full health, healing when you take damage. Nosk is a really hard fight to just damage rush. And Mick doesn't farm up soul before going back into Failed Champ. This is a really, really questionable play, because you can't farm soul during the fight. Not practically, at least, without Dream Wielder. And like, he's going for nail strats, but he has nail 0 with fragile strength. Like, we're talking a difference between 8 damage a hit from the nail and 120 damage from Abyss Shriek. Like, this isn't even close. You farm the soul. Of course, Mick isn't a true end runner. He's probably not terribly familiar with this fight without Fluke Nest, so I don't know. We'll see which of our runners can get through their boss first. Yes, Mick could be drunk. I do not believe Veloxitea is drunk, though. Wow. Chat trying to attack me for not having game knowledge. Even though I did in fact know that you can't Fluke Fail Champ. Since after all, the glitch which is in play here prevents any enemy which doesn't give soul on hit from taking damage from Fluke Nest. So that means Failed Champ, the Collector, the siblings, and so on and so forth. Alright, it does look like both of our racers are going to get through their boss fights at right about the same time, so second try, first try, second try for both of them. Very good to see. Veloxitea, meanwhile, presumably going to clear out the rest of his deep skulls now. A lot of stuff for him to do here. Though I don't expect to see 6 Devouts without Lantern out of him. He could surprise me and do the Dark Rooms, but I don't think that's in play here. And now he's pausing on his own end. Maybe trying to make sure he knows the route to get to Zote. No dark rooms on that one. Meanwhile, I think Mick is heading to Bardin. Seems fairly likely. Still no dive at this point, which is kind of interesting. With 2 copies, normally you don't expect it to hide too much. Though our runners don't have very good coverage of the seed combined. Really only seeing the beginning areas, plus a couple checks out of them. Mick going for Hornet 2 first, before Bardin. Interesting. Not a bad play, though this would leave him open to being sniped if Veloxitea had been making any moves towards this goal earlier. I suppose Mick knows that Veloxitea is in Deep Nest anyways from the Nosk mark, so he's probably not too worried. Veloxitea, meanwhile, getting a little lost on the way to Zote. Actually have to go down here in this room on the right to get to him. Meanwhile, Mick getting pummeled by Hornet 2. Just walking into her over and over again. Not generally the best strat for defeating Hornet 2, as it turns out. Alright, but Veloxitea gets through the arena. That's another goal for him. Please don't die, Mick. Yeah, maybe I should have put Mick's audio on for this fight. But he does get through it safely. Really cool fight to see. Hornet 2. Obviously in the vanilla game you never fight her with Shriek, but she's quite hard to handle. Since her mid-air hitbox moves so quickly and has such high knockback. I'm not sure why you would want to see a hive play for Mick, considering he knows Veloxitea is in Deep Nest and is approaching the hive goal on his side of the card. And we see Veloxitea picking up Trambass right now. And in Mick's position, he knows there's no way he could possibly beat out Veloxitea if Veloxitea wanted that goal. So I'm sure that Mick has already given up on that. Which is, of course, unfortunate because Veloxitea is going to rack up a pretty big lead right now. But there's just not much Mick can do because he wasn't able to target the deep nest goals before he killed Failchamp. By which point Veloxitea was already in deep nest. I think that Mick's best hope right now is finding Defender's Crest. We could see him go for Stalking Devout's. I don't think that he'll do that for the same reason. He's not in a position to know whether or not Veloxitea has Lantern, so he'll be very hesitant to follow into Deep Nest. I think that Mick just continues to check items. He doesn't really have a choice in the matter either because his home row, and especially row 4, are going to be impenetrable without finding more stuff. Alright, so what is Mick going for now? I guess Grub Song, maybe? Was there something at Sly he wanted to come back for? Ah, Waterways even. Oh, just spending Geo. Yeah, no. Waterways play is possible, but not very desirable without dive. I think we're going to see Mick check Grubsunk here and then maybe Abyss afterwards. Right, unfortunately for Mick, there are no Crystal Heart blocked items, so Crystal Heart can be anywhere in the seed at the moment. So this could take quite a while. Does Veloxitea know where the hive is? Are we sure about that? Or is he maybe going for Hornet 2 first, just to wrap up that goal? Find it really interesting that Mick isn't capitalizing on this Abyss play. I really hate seeing people pick up King's Brand, which takes so much time, and then not use it. Especially since Veloxitea seems to be going for that goal anyways now. Isma is nice for Mick. It will open up Love Key, which is not very slow, actually. Yeah, I don't know. Mick kind of has to hope for a lot of good things to happen at once right now. So I definitely am not sure that Mick has a path to victory without going into Deep Nest, so. Like, even without the Stalking Devout gold, he really does need Hero. I think. Veloxitea is very close to being able to take a dominating control over a 3, but not making the hive play and not going after the Stalking Devouts to slow him down a bit. Just keeping Mick in the race while he avoids his goals. Okay, so Veloxitea making his way over to Hornet 2. Definitely a good move. Very vulnerable to the snipe at this point. Mickely, meanwhile, looks to be taking the deep nest entrance to, right, the Queen's Garden entrance to deep nest. Really good play, coming in, grabbing Love Key along the way. I mean, I'm sure Mick is considering how he's going to get his essence for Longnail, but that still wouldn't get him to Hornet 2. He has to find Defender's Crest somewhere. That would be the big thing. Veloxitea very easily handling this Hornet 2 fight. Shade Soul helps, of course, but really tight all around. Much cleaner than Mick's fight was. Interesting that Mick isn't marking the goal. Of course, I also find it odd that Mick didn't go into Abyss after investing so much time into getting Kingsbrand, but what can you do? He should now realize so that Deep Nest is a safe play. Veloxitea is nowhere near there. Meanwhile, what are we going to get out of Veloxitea? Not heading back down to the Hive, so... I mean, there's nothing to do up in Colosseum. Maybe just headed to King Station, but... Okay, Mick has made it to the bench here. He has a few nice goals to snipe out of Deep Nest here, which Veloxitea didn't take when he had the chance. But Mick goes to get Tram Pass instead. Okay. That's an option. I think the Hive Shard is less important to Mick than Hera or Stalking Devout's, which have a lot of synergy with each other, and good board position, but whatever. Far be it for me to tell him what to do. See, I would be worried in this scenario that Veloxitea would come back to the tram and go for one of these goals afterwards. Because I do think that would be the correct play in Velocitea's shoes. Instead, he seems to be headed to get Geo, probably for Lantern. Mick, meanwhile, is opting to walk out a failed tramway. This is slow. Not optimal, but that's okay. Yeah, I still don't like the tram pass play here, because Mick is going to lose his bench save anyways, when he goes and does Hera. Yeah, Veloxitea seems lost. He's just... Well, he's had issues in a lot of his races with not going for goals when he had the opportunity to do so. I feel like this is what that is. Veloxitea got the row, which was less item intensive. Mick should be the one searching for items, and yet we see a role reversal where Mick is now charging ahead after goals, while Veloxitea presumably heads up to explore Soul Station. And I think that this is going to be the turning point of the race. Oops, Mick finally marked that goal. I expect a lead change pretty soon. Okay, so that's one devout for Mick. Oh my god, Veloxitea has been on this Huskard forever. Yeah, that took a long time, especially considering how he had rates. Yeah, Mick is bad at devouts, but that's not news. We're gonna see what these two items are, like I said before. Veloxitea passed up on these without Lantern. It could be very big. Dashmaster. That is Mick's favorite charm, as our viewers should well know by now. I expect to see a very rapid equip out of that, and a very lucky random charm find there. Not super necessary to his board position, but that's really nice still to find. I mean, Mick has done a lot of searching, so to finally get some kind of payout definitely should feel nice for him. Worth noting that Mick could just annihilate these devouts if he would use Abyss Shriek rather than Shade Soul. But that's okay. Alright, that's Mick's fourth devout. he can really easily get the last two and be stunned. So that will be 2 more goals for Mick, and he'll have access to Long Nail immediately afterwards. So Mick is currently tied, but about to go up by 3. Meanwhile, Veloxitea not close to anything. Really has to hope that Soul Sanctum is huge for him, because he's wasted a lot of time in City of Tears now after looking really good mid-game. He just decided to stop going for goals for some reason. And it's really hurting him. Hate to see it. Mark of Pride. I don't remember. Maybe it was at Wraiths? That seems likely. Okay, so that's 2 goals for Mick. Now Veloxitea heading to Dirtmath. I don't know what he's expecting to find here. Maybe he's going to cash in grubs, but yeah, I'm not sure I even see a path for Veloxitea to come back now. I mean, he has to do Mass Shard at Hive, and then he has to get really lucky on finding a lot of good items, which Mick never gets to. Probably dive at Hive Blood into a lot of things under Resting Grounds, I would think. But instead, is Veloxitea going for Crossroads Grubs, even though he still can't get that goal? I don't get it. I've said this about both racers, though. Going for goals which you can't mark and can't expect to mark is always questionable in this format. So let's see, Mick is up 10-7 right now. I believe at least. Yeah, so what does Mick need to win? Mass Shard and Hive is an option. But other than that, he needs to either find Crest and Dive or Crystal Heart. Or actually Dive would also be enough on its own. So Mick needs Dive or Crystal Heart in order to finish up the seed. I don't think he has a path to victory without one of those, since no way to get past row 4. So Mick is in search mode now. Despite his lead, he can't finish the seed with what he has. Alright, Mick is going to go check the Hive. We'll probably see him check Hive Blood afterwards. Of course, Mick, very well known for hating the Hive, so there's probably a fair dose of irony in this. But Hive Blood could be Crystal Heart, you know, you never know. And, you know, it could be utterly ridiculous, but Mick killed Hornet 2 and only got Kingsbrand out of it, so maybe after the Hive play, we might see Mick use Kingsbrand. It's out there. It's out there. Axe giving a very good point. Mick did not equip Dashmaster. Therefore, I think it's pretty clear that Mick has subbed out for somebody. Rest assured, there will be a tournament investigation into this. This is strange. Veloxitea, meanwhile, in Fog Canyon, doesn't seem to know that the Fog Canyon Grove is inaccessible without Crystal Heart. Completely. No Shade Skip, no weird wall storage with Dash Slash, or at least none that anyone has discovered, so... Veloxitea is going to bust out in here. Alright, we're gonna get to see a Hive Knight fight for Mick, so let's put on some audio for this. Always a fun fight. One we don't get to see much in speedrunning. Only 112% all bosses runs this, and actually fights this boss. Mick making this look really sketchy right now. Please don't die. Oh, the Hive Blood regen saved his life there. That is kind of amazing. But Mick gets through it safely. Let's see what's on Hive Blood. One of the slowest checks in the game, but always fun to see it. And it's just the 160 chest. Is that Resting Grounds? Maybe? I don't know. Mick kills Vespa. Wow, Mick. That's a low one. Yeah, I don't know if we can root for Mick anymore, chat. I think we have to see a Veloxitea comeback after that. Okay, Mick is back at the controller. Dashmaster is equipped. We're gonna see the Abyss play here. Maybe also see a Monarch Wings check. It's a bit slow, but it is available. Actually, Mick is checking Monarch Wings first for reasons. Buying the bench for reasons. I mean, you know, you could buy the bench, or you could just continue using the bench you had that's 3 screen transitions away. Pretty sure any time save he gets from that bench was lost by waiting for the toll to activate, but whatever. Mick showing off all of the Dash Master tech, making his movement look flawless. Veloxitea about to check Crystal Heart. Another new item. A vanilla Crystal Heart would be devastating for Mick. Could single-handedly swing this race back. But it's just Grub Song. Only one more item left in Crystal Peak to bail Veloxitea out of this race. Of course, Mick is almost never getting back to that Questor Chest, but Veloxitea really has to have that payout, I think. He also needs to not die. Alright, what's at Wings? Oh, Veloxitea. Mick gets more Geo. That is embarrassing. That's not the way you should ever die in Crystal Peak. Yeah, if he had just gone under the platform instead of trying to wall jump the side, he would have had no problems. Hence why I say it's embarrassing, not because it was a lack of skill or something like that, but because he tried to go over the platform, and he died for that. But okay, Veloxitea seems to be heading back. He took a wrong turn, but I'm sure he's gonna get there. Meanwhile, Mick, an hour after fighting Hornet 2 for no reason, is finally going to make his way into the Abyss. So what do you say, chat? Are we about to find Dive and Crystal Heart down here? Or is it going to be, I don't know, some garbage like Stalwart Shell? Crest, that is a gold for Mick. That is not enough to finish though, I believe. Mick currently has 11 goals, so he will need to find one more randomized goal aside from Defender's Crest. Either Dive or Crystal Heart. Yeah, those are the only options. He has to find one of those two, no matter what. Meanwhile, Veloxitea going the wrong way in Crystal Peak. Hate to see it. Yeah, I don't even know what Veloxitea can do at this point. He needs to find Dive immediately, because the problem is the dive goals are so slow. Up, but Mick is delayed a little bit further from victory. Makes you wonder where Crystal Heart could be. Of course, Soul Sanctum and Waterway is still completely unchecked. Almost 2 hours into the seed, so those are your likely suspects. And of course, all the dive block locations are also on the table. Meanwhile, Veloxitea back where he was, only lost several minutes in the process. I don't want to rag on this death too much, but that did kind of kill the race, because coming back afterwards is... it's gonna take a miracle. Crystal Heart will have to be the last place Mick checks. Where is Veloxitea going? Well, Mick knows where he's going. Probably gonna check, talk to Lem, and maybe even route that straight into Soul Sanctum. But Mick did not equip Defender's Crest, so he won't be getting that goal. Meanwhile, Veloxitea really struggling with Crushers. Has everything he needs to do this the casual way, but if he's not familiar with it, then not much you can do, right? So you gotta take this bench. This is a terrible bench to take. To be fair, the spike tunnel skip into waterways tends to be fairly inconvenient because it does require Crystal Heart or Isvasteer to actually make progress. Not to mention, it's quite a bit slower than the simple key entrance, assuming you have a simple key. So there's good reason why most people don't go for that. Anyways, it won't be a problem here since I believe both racers do have a simple key. Alright, Veloxitea gets through the conveyor. What's it gonna be? Dash Slash. Also interesting to see Mick checking Watcher Knights before Soul Sanctum. Probably can't believe that Veloxitea hasn't checked that area either, this far into the race. Kind of assume every easy location has already been taken. Not to mention this is a fast fight with mixed spells. Meanwhile, Veloxitea heading to Crystallized Mound. He's not going to get very far. Is he going to farm for soul? No, he knows that he doesn't have dive. But yeah, this is the cost of Veloxitea's bench. A really, really awful bench at Crystal Peak. Probably cost him over a minute compared to farming soul kneeling, if we're honest. Alright, Mick thwarted yet again. Watcher Knights being utter garbage. And is Pitker in chat? I'm pretty sure Mick is doing this for you, Pitker. Let's all go at him in Discord. Mick going for the Lurie and heal strat. Very impressive Galaxy Brain play. Oh, or this could be the THK play as well. I mean, I'm not going to try and pass judgment either way, but... I mean, if Mick goes for THK, this will be an incredibly close finish, I think. Alright, into Soul Sanctum for Mick. Meanwhile, Veloxitea, back in City of Tears. If Veloxitea goes and does Dung Defender, this could be a chance for Veloxitea to get back in this. Veloxitea can't afford to follow in Mick's footsteps right now, though. Also worth noting that both racers missed on their chance to easily check his Mystere after using the tram. Could come to regret that because this Mystere could definitely have one of these items we're looking for. And I think that it's over. Mick has found Desolate Dive. And so that gives Mick access to 3 different goals, any 2 of which are enough to finish. Actually, Mick has access to all 4 of these goals whenever he wants to, so no reason to even finish checking Soul Sanctum, but it does look like he will. Crystal Heart will save time, I suppose, if he finds it. At this rate, I think Veloxitea needs to hope for the other copy of Dive. That's pretty much his only hope. If he gets the other copy of Dive, he can still lock Mick out of these row 5 goals. Which would be really, really funny to see, actually. Mick would be in a lot of pain. Veloxitea not realizing that Flute Farm requires Dive, I guess. That's unfortunate. Hopefully he goes to Dung Defender. He's going the wrong way. Veloxitea. Veloxitea, please. No Veloxitea. Why Veloxitea? Alright, what's that Desolate Dive? Dream Wielder. Alright. If all of Soul Sanctum is garbage, then... well, that just slows us down a little bit for Mick. He has effectively secured victory at this point, but... and Shade Cloak actually does it, I believe. Yeah, maybe if Defender's Crest is dived, they're still away, but it's vanishing very quickly now. Alright, Dung Defender is down. Mick is struggling. How is this race going to end? Well, not with Veloxitea finding dive. So I'm afraid this is the end. Now we just have to wait for Mick to get his shit together and finish. To put it one way. Oh good, Mick is getting this very important and useful bench right now. Very good idea, Mick. This is all because Mick couldn't be bothered to remember to equip Defender's Crest on the way up. In other words, this bench was a bad and unnecessary idea. And Veloxitea is doing weird stuff. Okay, is Mick going to finish off with Elderbug? Is that what we're looking at? Or does Mick feel so confident that he can finish with THK? Is Mick going to go for the ultimate beam play? Ooh, yeah, I like that. Doing the damageless THK fight with Flower. That's, that is what a true Rainbow God would do here. Yeah, get Monomon with Flower too. Because damageless Umu, we all know, is a thing people go for. It'd actually be really easy with the Bishriek, but let's not dwell on that. I believe Mick is going for Monomon now. That sure is what it looks like, at least. Well, the interesting thing is, Veloxitea is going to find dive, right? He does have Elegant Key, I think. So, he could get a bunch of these goals and get back into the race right now. Especially if he bails out of Soul Sanctum and does Waterways. Like, pretty good chance that Crystal Heart is at Fluke Nest or on the way to Elderbug, you know? these things, which Mick isn't checking right now, so yeah, who knows? We'll see. What will Veloxitea go for? Alright, Mick. If you take damage on this Umu fight, we're all going to be disappointed, even though you didn't get Flower. Sorry, chat, but Umu is always delicate. You don't need a flower for that to be true. Yeah, Mick could have gotten the one cycle of that. That's kind of sad. Luring Umu to the bottom of the room, as it turns out, not very effective with the Bistreak. Mick does take Umu out though. Alright, no Crystal Heart there. It's that Soul Eater. This is still in play. And, oh, and it is. I was looking at the wrong restream. Sorry. There it is. There's Crystal Heart in reserve for Veloxitea. So he could get a lot of goals really fast right now. Mick is actually in a very tenuous position, even only needing one more goal to win. So here's the thing, I don't think Mick will have his eye on the bingo board during the THK fight. Or he'll have at least a delay on it. But the big problem for Veloxitea here is that he has to mark Watchcloth die before he can get to the Waterways goals and the Crystal Heart goal. So basically, he's going to spend a very long time between when he has revealed the items he's found and when he can actually punish Mick for it. So I just don't see Veloxitea coming back from this. He needs every single remaining goal. That's just too much to ask for. And in fact, the race will be over if Mick checks Soul Eater here. If he go modes, then it could be another thing. Mick is go moding it. This is huge because Mick probably won't come back here for Crystal Heart later. This could actually be enormous. If Veloxitea can deliver this flower safely, then... And Veloxitea doesn't have infected crossroads, Mick does. Yeah, this could be huge. I'm not sure how Mick is going to get back to dirt through infected crossroads. I mean, that's gonna be rough. The the optimal achievement strats. Sorry about that, but that is a little hilarious. Alright, Veloxitea gets the bingo. But Mick sees Veloxitea get that. Is he gonna go to Waterways? Ah, this is so sad. Veloxitea has to go do Fluke Farm right now, but he doesn't know it since Mick hasn't revealed Dive yet. Go do Fluke Farm, Veloxitea. Oh no, Mick is checking Soul Eater. It's over. Well, Mick isn't marking it, so I think he's still gonna go for THK, but maybe not with Delicate Flower. I don't exactly blame him for missing out of the infected crossroads with Flower. Still disappointing, but inevitable. This will give Veloxitea a chance to get another goal or two. Actually, Veloxitea can do Fluke Farm directly into Crystal Heart. He still won't be able to win because Mick can just get Fluke Hermit afterwards, but that's definitely an option for him to make this closer. Alright, does Veloxitea know the way to Fluke Farm? And why is he not healing? Veloxitea, it would make us all feel better if you would do this at 5 HP instead of 1. Alright, Mick into the Hollow Knight room as Veloxitea makes his way into Fluke Farm. Veloxitea should definitely be able to get his 2 goals before Mick gets through this fight. As long as Veloxitea doesn't die to Fluke Farm. Veloxitea, why are you not using Shade Soul? Why are you not healing? Why anything? Well, that is, I think that summarizes this race pretty well. That was so preventable in so many different ways. But it could end that way instead. Yeah, the sad thing about this is that Veloxitea really is not bad at running this, but these unfortunate deaths, like this one and the one in Fungal Wastes earlier, it's just too costly. You can't win against anyone with stuff like that. Oh well. GG to Mick. Very impressive win on his part. After starting at such a deficit.
GG. GG.
Hey, Mick. GG, man. That was a good match.
Dude, you got everything like right away.
I got a couple of things right away, but there was one thing I was missing till the very end that was freaking me out.
What was that?
Descending Dark. Or not Descending Dark, but Desolate Dive.
Yeah, I didn't get dive till right at the end. You actually got Elderbug Flower like right before I did.
I thought that was like, I saw the, sorry, I'm still like on edge. I saw that you had gotten, I saw that you had gotten Mash Shard in the Hive, and I was like, he's got Desolate Dive. Oh my god. I was freaking out. I was like, where is it? Where's Desolate Dive? I couldn't find it. And then as soon as I got Desolate Dive,
Did you think the Hive was dive
over
block?
to Discord and saw that you were going for some sort of crazy play. I was like, I can still make this work. So I went to do Flower to Elderbug, as like immediately afterwards.
Wow, you cheated, huh? You looked in Discord?
Oh well, I wanted to keep Discord open just in case somebody was like, hey, you need to stop, because like in the past, it's been like, oh, Miguel's not like, Veloxie's not stopping. What's he doing? Just in case like a pause needs to happen. So I keep Discord open just in case that ever happens. And then Axe just kind of bleeped a little bit.
No. I may or may not be watching the credits right now.
That's good. You know what? Good on you, man. That's all right. I'm okay with that. I felt pretty.
Do you
good
guys
about
want me
that
to
match
stop
either
the
way.
timer? I can stop the timer.
I mean, it was the perfect time to do it because Hera was on the board. I went and checked Watcher Nights anyway, just to try and find shit. So I was like, you know what? We're gonna do this. We're gonna set up for it.
Yeah, at the time that I went down to Deep Nest, I was thinking, oh, maybe if I get all these Deep Nest things, he'll think, oh, he's gonna go get Hera, and then he won't go for it. And that was kind of what I was hoping would happen, but you went for Hera anyway. Because I didn't go for Hera when I was there, because I don't know the Dark Rooms.
Oh, you didn't have Lantern. I kind of figured that was why.
Yeah, I didn't have Lantern. I don't know the Dark Rooms, so I prayed that a bluff would prevent you from going to Hera, but it didn't happen.
I thought about it, but there was too much there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You want to join Hamathity in his channel so he doesn't feel so alone?
Yeah, let's show jump.
Yo, what's up?
Oh, I was listening to
Yo,
you
hey,
this whole time. Oh, let me meet you, actually.
Hey,
Hello? Hamathity, are you there?
rest in peace, Hamathity. He's not here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
BRB bathroom.
Oh, no. They can't hear me. I changed the setting to push to talk for no reason. But what I said and what chat heard was that I was actually listening to you the whole time and making fun of you as you guys were talking to each other.
Oh, okay.
So don't worry. I got to hear the whole post game commentary
Well, that's
from you
good.
guys. Sad way to end it on the Fluke Farm death. It was really close at that point, but
I was really hoping that I could kill Fluke Marm there, but I couldn't pull it off. I didn't have a nail that was strong enough to kill the little minions with one shot, and that made the fight really, really tough.
True, definitely. And Mick
You had Crystal Heart at the end then, I'm assuming?
He did.
Yeah, I dug Crystal Heart out of somewhere.
Yeah, it was at Soul Eater.
Yeah.
Yeah, Soul Eater. After I got Desolate Dive at, I got Desolate Dive at
Shade Soul?
yeah, at Shade Soul. I was like, oh my god, it was here the whole time. I was so mad.
Yep, we did
Yep.
not get a Soul Sanctum check until, I believe, around 2 hours into the race.
Yeah, that was when you did it, right, Mick?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Mick
Yeah.
went there first.
Oh man, that's okay though.
No, we had a lot of fun too with the Mick getting all the dreamers and uh,
I got memed on pretty hard.
well, it brought in a lot of a lot of interesting possibilities at the end of the races. You got all the items while Mick was
Yeah.
goofing off, and
I felt a little bad about it, but
I
it was
almost,
it was the perfect storm, the perfect scenario to do it with Hera on the board and already taken.
I was
true, yeah,
almost, I was almost gonna. Oh man, if only I had made the comeback, I would have been so good.
yeah.
I figured either way I was safe because after getting dive, I could go talk to Hermit afterwards because there's no way you could snipe that one.
Yeah, I
So
couldn't snipe both Crystal Heart and Hermit, so
Yeah, Trader Lord would have taken way too long. I don't know if you ever got Shade Clove Veloxitea.
no.
Where was it, Mick?
Yeah.
I
Some
forgot
awful
where it was. I
place.
got it. It was in no, it was at Soulmaster chest.
Oh,
Ah,
Soul Master chest. Okay.
that's right.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I didn't check the rest of Soul Sanctum. I booped out of there as soon as I picked up Desolate Dive.
Yeah, we were pretty surprised to see Mick check Soul Sanctum since um, he pretty much had what he needed with Dive. Though I guess he probably wanted insurance before going after Holiday.
Maybe.
I was more just looking for Crystal Heart. I wanted to know
Right.
where it was.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That way you
Yeah.
could just have a button you could click to win. And how did you feel when you entered Infected Crossroads with Delicate Flower?
Me?
Yes, you.
I mean, that part was fine. The route that I would have taken would have been the normal route anyway, to go up
Okay,
past
so you just bailed out of there because you saw Veloxity had gotten the goal?
yeah, there was no
Okay,
reason to go and give it to Elderbug at that point. I mean,
alright.
I could have for the memes, but just to see the senpai on the screen.
Thank you, Senpai. Always makes me smile.
Well, let's see, was there anything else interesting from this? Any second thoughts about choosing row 5 at the beginning?
Yep. Yep,
I
absolutely.
thought so. That row
Yeah.
4 was pretty awful.
Yeah, row 4 was awful. Row 5 ended up being pretty bad. At the beginning of the race, I saw, hey, Crystal Heart, Bardoon, Wings, and 5,000 Geo. Like, those are pretty easy. I just need to find them and whatever. But
Yeah, I mean, and
And then you found Wings.
and I found Wings. I was like, holy shit, this is going to be great. And then
then Crystal
Dreamnail,
Heart was
Cyclone, and
Dreamnail,
Quick
nowhere.
Cyclone
Slash were
Slash, Quick
like,
Slash.
they were all right
next.
there.
Yeah, I was really shocked when I picked up Dreamnail. And I had Cyclone Slash in reserve. So that I was just like, wow, okay, I'll take that. And then everything else I felt in row 1 was like really easy to do. Um, I did corner for locations on the way to a bunch of other places and making other
Mm-hmm.
checks. Um, where was Mark of Pride? I know where Longnail was.
Wraiths, maybe? Or was it at Cyclone Slash?
It was in a wasn't it in Abyss?
No.
Oh, you went to Abyss?
Something was in the Abyss.
Oh
Um,
snap! I'm surprised you went to the Abyss.
I don't think
I killed
Abyss
Hornet 2 and had that in
anything.
reserve for like 20 minutes before you got her.
Yeah. I was. What did I do? Hornet? I mean, I did Hornet 2 because it was gold. Like, I think I was on the way to doing a couple. I think. Oh yeah, I had come out of wanting to do Mask Shard and Hive, and then realized, oh, you need Desolate Dive. Don't have it.
You don't need
Um,
dive for that.
you don't. I thought you can't break the. I thought you had to break the ground with Desolate Dive.
Big B breaks the wall for you.
Oh, I was thinking of something totally different. Wow.
That's a grub up there.
Oh, wow, misplay on my
Yeah,
part.
we were really confused when you went past Hive.
Yeah, that was
that
a misplay. I switched around those two locations for no reason. Whoop.
Yeah, no, there's no goal at the Hive Grubs, at the moment at least, so you definitely could have gotten Mass Shard at that point.
Yeah, that feels kind of bad. Oh well.
Yep, you live and learn by making mistakes, right?
Yeah, and I still felt like this was one of the best matches I've played.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was.
I mean, it was really close. You had a pretty strong lead early on. Um,
Yeah.
right around the point where it turned around, I think, was when you trammed out of Deep Nest, and that was when Mick replaced you there and just took goal after goal after goal.
Yeah, like I said before, I couldn't do Deep Nest. Well, rather, I didn't want to do Deep Nest because I didn't know the Dark Rooms, so
Yeah.
I didn't do Hera, which would have been nice. I didn't go get the Love Key, which is over, which you can from over in that area, I believe.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, Mick just had a really nice advantage going in with Lantern to make all of that easy.
yeah,
Yeah, what can you do?
it was good. It was
Yep.
good.
Well, it was a really fun race to commentate and watch. I guess that's it for both of you now. Any
Yeah.
thoughts
Yeah,
moving into the bracket?
should be
Um,
fun. I'm excited. I don't know.
I feel like with all the experience I've gained over the course of all these matches, I feel like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be lots of fun.
Hmm. Yep. Well, it's a whole different level of intensity, right? When now things are on the line.
Your tournament life is on the line. Yeah.
That's right. We're gonna hear that phrase a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe not next week, but afterwards.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, it's a little premature since we still have a few more matches, but
Mm-hmm.
Right.
thanks for playing for us, and congrats to both of you for being through.
Yeah. Thanks for the
It's been a
restream.
pleasure.
It was fun.